All right, we're going to call the Tuesday, December 8th meeting of the Municipal Airport Authority to order. You all received the minutes of the November 24th meeting. Were there any changes or corrections, additions? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved as printed. Number 2, approve the airport vouchers totaling $53,068.52.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Are there any questions about the vouchers from anyone? Okay. Roll call vote.
Haugen.
Aye.
Engen.
Aye.
Cosgriff. Cosgriff. Okay, thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Lind.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye. Let's see, number 3, there's an updated individual vouchers as follows. Did they get the updated version? Okay, so it's A is Sixel LLC, B is Flint Communications, C is Meineke Johnson Company, D is Northern Plains Mechanical, E is Rickard Electric. Are there any questions about any of those?
What were the balances on the last three?
The last 3, Meineke Johnson, 209,925 and 81,000. Partial payment request number 6 for the general construction of the SRE building project. D, Northern Plains Mechanical was 15,345. Partial payment request number 5 for mechanical construction of the SRE building project. E, Rickard Construction, $107,417.80. Partial payment request number 6 for electrical construction for the SRE building project. So these are all the SRE building project expenses that we have budgeted for.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We approve the vouchers A through E. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Haugen.
Aye.
Engen.
Aye.
Cosgriff.
Aye.
Lind.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye. Okay, number 4, receive the letter of intent from Meadowlark Logistics LLC to lease additional space in the East Side Terminal Building.
Okay, Mr. Flaxbarth provided a letter of intent for Meadowlark Logistics to lease additional space in the East Terminal Building. They're currently a tenant on the first floor. They fly freight or cargo, canceled checks. I'm not sure. They do a lot of different operations over there. And they've requested to lease space on the second floor that was recently vacated by Vox Telesys. And their lease request is January 1st to December 31st, 2021. The rate has been increased to $8.29 a square foot. And Stacy and her staff will put together a lease agreement for Dave Lawson and his crew from Meadowlark per your approval today.
Any questions for Sean? If not, can I have a motion on the floor? Or do we just receive it?
No motion.
Do we gotta have a motion? Yeah.
Move to accept lease conditions and terms.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Receive the letter of intent from Meadowlark Logistics LLC. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, number 5, receive communication from City of Fargo Wastewater Department requesting temporary construction lease of airport property.
Jim Hausauer, did you join us? Jim from the wastewater plant? See
It looks
Jim on
like-
there. Okay, well, we sent out to you information about a request from the wastewater plant, Jim and his staff, looking for property adjacent to the wastewater plant to store about 39,000 cubic yards of clay as part of the wastewater plant expansion project. We own property directly west of the wastewater plant, and there's a couple of farm fields that are currently leased to North Dakota State University as part of their crop production. We also own the park that is directly adjacent to the wastewater plant. That is leased to the Fargo Park District. And the alternative is for them to find property some other location and incur a lot of hauling expenses and charges, get the clay out and bring the clay back. But this property seemed to be advantageous to them to reduce those costs. And what we would need to do, and we'd work with Stacy and NDSU, and I've already made Brian Otterson aware at NDSU that the city may want this for the 2021 crop year, is to amend the NDSU lease to remove this from their production payment requirement for 2021, and then do a construction lease with the city of Fargo to lease this for the 2021 crop year. It's about $150 an acre is what we get, and the letter that Jim had sent assures us of the restoration requirements and everything else that they would do to that once they're finished hauling the clay back to their project site. So I guess I would ask your approval of this request. Once again, it's another example of cooperation between the airport authority and the city that has happened for decades. The alternative is for the city and the taxpayers to pay more, but this is adjacent, it's the right thing to do, and per your approval, we can move forward with the next step to put together some type of temporary construction. Whether that will be done by Nancy Morris at the city or Stacy, I guess that remains to be seen, but
So,
that's what I have.
so you said the other part of the property is owned by the park district?
It's leased by the park district.
Leased by the parks.
We own it and then
Okay.
lease it, so everything to the east of what we own. The reason that the one tract is highlighted, the 4.5 acre tract, is they may be able to get all of the clay in that tract. They're not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
If not, they also have access to the south acreage.
Okay,
So the total acreage might be around, it's something less than 10 acres
okay,
in that area, and I'd have to check what the crop production is. So once they know more from their consulting engineer on how much space they're going to need, that will decide whether or not they go to this area south of the shelter belt and up to the mobile home park.
okay.
Yes.
Excuse me, Sean, Eric, I have some questions too.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Eric. Okay, so my question is, how tall are they going to pile that clay up? And how long is it going to be there?
I do not know the answer to how tall the pile will be. I can find out. The engineer would have to put together some estimate of what that may be. And their goal is to start placing that clay in early 2021 and have it removed by the end of 2021. And then hopefully the field can be restored if the weather conditions allow. If not, it could be carried into 2022 crop year as far as the restoration.
This is my concern, is that we have a clear way for runway 279 right there. That I don't think it's going to be exactly in the way, but it definitely is going to be an obstacle. And it's going to take that park away for all the kids that are in the trailer court that is right there. And it's going to be a huge eyesore for everybody who lives there. So those are kind of my concerns right now.
The park won't be disturbed, other than they will have a haul road that they're going to construct, and they've talked with Dave Leaker at the Park District about that. The height of the clay, I do not believe will exceed the height of the streetlights that are on North University Drive, which would be a gauge of interference with the runway operation. We've already looked at that, but I can get more information on the height. I do agree that it probably is some form of an eyesore, a temporary one at that, but you know, it's weeds and everything else that's going to be out there, and they've assured us that they would be controlling the weeds to try and be as good a neighbors as they can. But your concerns are valid, Eric.
Yeah, the clay that's piled up around the sewer treatment plant currently, right now, probably in the 20 to 30, maybe even higher range, and they're pretty tall. And so I was just a little concerned when I saw that they had a request to go through that it is going to be a giant eyesore, and I was like, and get at the runway right there. So anyway, those are my concerns.
Yeah, this work will be
Super
done.
into favor of that.
Understand. This work will be done in conjunction with the reconstruction of North University Drive. So traffic in that area is going to be limited anyway for the 2021 construction year, I guess, if you will.
Mike?
My question is, as NDSU has leased this in the past, do they have any kind of a crop history here, soil specific, that could be altered by depositing clay and the cleanup? And do they plan on skimming off the topsoil and then depositing the clay?
Yeah, that's in their letter here, is that they would, the topsoil will be stockpiled and replaced when the project is complete. That's
Okay.
in their letter. So they will do that. They do have crop history. It's not real productive property. That's soybeans and wheat, I guess is what they've primarily had there. They've had alfalfa in the past, which was really productive, but
Yeah.
this little farm field is kind of a pain for them to farm anyway, and they wouldn't mind if it went away.
Okay, well, because I was just thinking, we've used the field on the north side of 36th Avenue as a borrow pit several times. And I know it's back to cropland now.
Yeah.
But that's in exactly the same proximity. If NDSU had any desires to keep this untainted, as it were.
I think Brian's preference, who runs the agronomy seed farm for NDSU, is to have it in this location. The reason being is the field on the north where the clay stockpiles were years ago was on the north half of the field. So the south half really wasn't disturbed. And they, along with the city, did quite a bit of drainage improvement already on that north piece. So that's kind of in good standing.
Yeah.
So if they're going to disturb something, they prefer this little piece here, which with their
Okay.
equipment is really difficult to get to anyway. But they will restore it, and the city did restore that north field to the best that they can, and then NDSU kind of took those drainage improvements that the city had done and improved upon them. It's kind of a work in progress, but there's no doubt that the production of the property may be less for the first couple of years of crop production, but it'll eventually come back.
Okay. Good comments, good questions. Anything else for discussion there?
I don't know if Jim joined us or not. Jim Hausauer, did you join us?
Jim?
That
Yeah.
she's with Flint, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, okay.
Okay, hold on here.
John, you said this is gonna be about 10 acres, so you're looking at about $1,500 in income off this whole thing for a year?
Roughly, yeah. It's slightly under 10, but that's a good gauge, yeah. It's no more than $1,500.
Okay, copy. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on that one, but that's okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to receive the communication from City of Fargo Wastewater Department?
I'd so move.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Haugen. Is there a second?
Second.
Cosgrove, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of receiving communication from the City of Fargo Wastewater Department requesting temporary construction lease of airport property, signify by saying aye.
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 Yeah, no.
Okay. Passed 4-1. Oh. Okay, so he did a no.
Right.
All right,
Just Eric.
just Eric,
Okay.
right. Number 6, resolution of appreciation to Henry Swedberg, retiring airport maintenance supervisor, Airfield.
I recognize the phone number up there. Henry, are you on?
Sam.
Well, I guess that this wasn't a surprise, but it's kind of, I don't know, disappointing, I guess, to lose a very valued employee to the airport authority. Henry Swedberg is the operations supervisor for the airport. 34 years of that service to the airport. He did start out as a building maintenance attendant and then moved over to the airfield maintenance staff and then became the supervisor a number of years ago. But as an airport director and as a staff and a community, this is the type of person that you that you look for to take care of the airfield in accordance with the federal standards, to the satisfaction of all of the users, from local users, military, air cargo, commercial carriers, corporate carriers. And there's a lot of long hours that go into the duty of an airport operations supervisor with the airfield. I mean, in the winter, there's many long hours where they don't get home because they're plowing snow or taking care of ice conditions. If there's an electrical outage 24/7, who do we call? Call Henry, call Henry, call Henry.
Wow.
That's the motto that's been around ever since, and it's the same with his predecessors as well. But his institutional knowledge of the airfield is unprecedented. If there was a mountain of snow or maybe lakes of water out on the airfield, depending on what situation we were dealing with, to look for an electrical circuit, to find a drainage issue or whatever it may be, Henry knows where that stuff is. Without looking at maps, even though we've got a whole catalog of maps, he maybe found stuff that isn't on the maps, but he kind of charted his way. So as an airport director, and I think as an airport authority, to have an employee with Henry's service and dedication has really been a blessing, I think, for all of us. So Henry, there is a plaque here for you that basically says Henry Swedberg, Airport Operations Supervisor, in appreciation of your 34 years of dedicated service to Hector International Airport, December 11th, 2020. That will be his last day in retirement. So Henry, congratulations, and we wish you the best in your retirement. Although I believe we can hopefully convince you to come back when it snows. We might need you after the first of the year on your schedule. If you're ice fishing or hunting or swelling the grandkid, that's fine. But if you still have a little equipment operator desire in you on your terms, I think we'd like to have you back from time to time. So with that, I'll turn it over to the board if they have any comments.
I'd like to propose that we don't allow him to retire until after the air show.
That's right.
You might have to be a consultant because he can set up the chalet fences
yeah.
just out of memory without looking at a map. But
Wow.
no, it's been a real great experience, I think, for everyone. And
I would just concur with what you said. Over the years, working with him and everybody here for the air show committee has been it's just one of those things that whole committee just doesn't have to worry about.
Oh.
It'll just be done, and it's just awesome for the whole airport. But I know Henry's in charge of that.
That's
and I'm almost certain you're going to get calls, Henry, not only from us here at the airport to try and find a circuit out on the airfield or how something's connected out there, but the contractors and everything else that you've worked with looked up to you, and it's really worked out well for us, and it's going to be sad to see you go.
Henry, thank you so much. Any other comments? Would you like to share anything, Henry?
Well, thank you for the kind words. In fact, this morning I got called in early for a contractor. Part of the game.
Yep. Well, as you heard, I'm sure you'll probably be getting some calls if you're available. So we appreciate all you've done, and thank you so much.
If you change your phone number,
Thank
let
you
us
for the
know.
opportunity.
Yeah. Sean says if you change your phone number, let us know.
I said we should buy his phone number.
I might change my answering machine.
Okay.
Well, at the appropriate time, Henry, we'll get together. You've got a plaque here and stuff. We can get that when you come over sometime this week. But once we're out of this COVID stuff, we maybe have some type of a get-together when it's safe to do so and based on the guidelines. But you won't be forgotten in that regard. So we'll definitely get together with a group soon to send you off in the right way.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Number 7, airport construction and security update.
Yeah, I would propose a motion
Oh,
for resolution.
resolution, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been moved that on the resolution of appreciation to Henry Swedberg. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Eric?
Thank you, Eric. All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
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 'Aye. 'Aye.
'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye. 'Aye I think I got everybody.
Yep.
Okay, motion carried. Airport construction security update.
But the only thing going is the snow removal equipment building. Thankful to a lot of good weather. So, Terry, what do you have for us there? What's progress?
Yeah, all right. Good morning. So the existing facility is about 40% re-roofed, and what they've done now is the roof material for the new SRE building showed up Thursday, so they're moving to the new building to finish that before they finish the rest of the re-roofing on the existing building. Anticipate that to take about 2 weeks. I think all the relighting, refit in the existing building is done. They got structural steel up at the existing, in the addition. They got joists and decking up, and they're installing curb and gutter and paving around the addition. And the SRE building is, the panels are complete. The roof, like I said, is showed up Thursday. They figure about 2 weeks starting from the north to the south. They can't really do much inside from an electrical perspective until it's roofed and kind of watertight. So, and really there isn't tons to do once they get that in, so it should go pretty fast. Garage doors are supposed to arrive December 21st, and they believe they'll have those in by Christmas. So the building should be enclosed right around Christmas time. And then they'll have electrical and some mechanical to do inside yet. So
It's coming along. Good.
yeah.
Any questions for Terry? Comments? Okay, anything else, Sean?
Jeff, there's really nothing happening on the cargo side. That's all wrapped up for last time. So we're still working on the environmental study that they did, which will help to expedite construction. We will have a couple of hangar construction requests, I believe, at our next board meeting. That's pretty exciting to have from there. So one little thing that we're working on, and Dan Bolus is here, our building operations supervisor. So he had demonstrated a robot vacuum. Company came in and they've got a robot vacuum, and I'm still trying to give them some contacts to verify in Louisville and some other places, but that may be something that we will look at, which will help free up some staff, especially on the night shift. You can vacuum 24/7 with it. We may take a look at that process to help see cleaning continually. And it looks like a pretty neat system. It did pretty well, Dan, from what you saw.
Yes, it did. I kind of wanted to talk to someone in Louisville to see, as far as maintenance on it, if they had issues. And it's something that you lease, you don't buy it. So if it breaks down, they come and they send a new one, and you send that one back to them.
So well.
Good.
The only other thing, and I see Jim Sweeney, are you on? Jim, can you hear us?
Hey, Jim.
I was going to have him comment on flight instruction and their record flight activity up there with flight instruction. Jim, are you on?
Jim Sweeney?
Okay, well, we can move on. That's all I have, I guess. I don't know
Okay.
if Commissioner Strand has anything, but we're good.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I've got one additional item here that, yesterday over at the Fargo Air Museum, we dedicated a wall of honor, which is actually started in Bismarck. And the wall of honor is a volunteer group and a nonprofit group that put out a TV set, and the TV set is a continuous play, and it lists specifically veterans by photo and service date, and then first responders and sheriffs, police as wanted, and by families that go on there. And it's free, and it's a nonprofit, and there's one currently in the Air Museum. They're putting one in the Veterans Administration over here at the VA hospital in the waiting room.
Okay.
They have one in West Fargo VFW, and they're just starting here in the eastern part of the state. There's several out in Bismarck, and I would encourage us to think of placing one here in the terminal. It's free.
It's a great
You
idea.
have to find a plug-in.
Plug-in, yeah.
It's updated from Bismarck about every week.
Wow.
They refresh them. They add different names and photos. And just to give you a little story, the other day, Dave Weller, who is a real estate agent in Bismarck, former legislator, is heading up the project, and he was in the Bismarck Elks, and he was sitting there with some friends, and another table, the gal who was watching when a police officer who was killed in Grand Forks earlier this year, when she saw the police officer's photo and service, she started crying. Well, it was his sister.
Oh.
And anyway, just a very fitting tribute to first responders, to veterans, and it's much more personal than just the
wall.
American Legion
Yep.
or the VFW. You don't know who they are, but you list who they are with a photo.
Oh.
And we've got a lot of veterans here who have had some quite extraordinary careers in World War II and other things that would be historically, I think, a good thing to put up.
That's a great idea.
So I just propose that if we are interested
Consider
in
it.
doing it.
Yep.
Try and find a location.
Yep. Good. We'll try and find a location.
I think Jim is connected.
Yep. Jim. Thank you, Mike.
Madam Chair, thank you. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
Oh, say, Jim, the question is some days ago we spoke about how busy your flight instruction department is. Can you give us an update on what's happening there and just business overall?
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Flight instruction, we actually set records this summer. I think we did it in June, July, and again in August about the number of flight hours flown. A few different reasons for that. We did add a couple aircraft to the fleet. Interestingly, over a number of years, we've always just flown Cessna 172s. And now we've got a couple low-wing Piper Archers. We've got the Cessna 172s. And for the first time ever this year, we have both a Cirrus SR-20 and, as of last week, a brand new SR-22 that is available for rent and some instruction. So full-time 6 flight instructors, led by Mike Paulson, who's been a fixture at this airport, I think, longer than Henry. So Mike's been doing a great job. He's the finest mentor, pilot, teacher that you can come by, and he's built a great team, including our assistant manager, Taj Vinay, and she's done a wonderful job. So they're building up, the flight school has customers in, the spectrum is from, 16 to people in their 70s coming out and either refreshing or learning to fly for the first time. So it's been a great season for the school. I'll just highlight overall, the numbers will show, in our fuel volumes, we're probably in that 65% range right now of our business compared to last year. And that's certainly, we look at a gallon of general aviation jet fuel sold, year over year. Airline gallons we don't put in there because they're sold or they're actually owned by the airline before they get here. But I would say, generally speaking, we're at about 65% of last year.
Great.
Good.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jim.
Jim, this is Eric Lind.
Thanks,
I wanted to also say, hey, I rented your 182 a couple weeks ago, and that was a gorgeous airplane. And if anybody has an opportunity, they should get out and try and rent that thing. It was and Jack Cucini's done a wonderful job with that aircraft.
Yeah, many of these older aircraft, we'll add new avionics and certainly do all the maintenance necessary, but a few upgrades like that make them nice to fly. So thanks for reminding me. We have the 182 with the retractable gear airplane. So
Great, thank
Good
you.
job with that one. Thank you for having us for rep. That was a lot of fun.
And Jim, I see you added
Appreciate that.
Jim, I see you added a new de-icing truck to your fleet.
yes, that was our trigger in October. We've been fortunate. We've tried to refurb some older units over the years, so we've got that in for the entire winter. So we're working with the airlines and the service providers to make sure that they understand and get our people trained as backups. That takes a lot of work and effort to work with all the vendors and all the training and everything that goes into that. But it's a commitment. We've got to have that. We are absolutely full at hangar space. We're well over 100% capacity, and I'll be bringing more information on that to you at the next meeting or two.
I see we took delivery of not brand new, but a Global Express that'll be based here now.
Yeah, Fargo's customer base of private aircraft has continued to grow amazingly, and we've seen people that have come into aviation and using private aircraft in recent years have not all, but many have triggered upgrades to their aircraft. So we do have a new base tenant, the largest private aircraft that North Dakota has ever seen.
That's great.
Yeah, just arrived yesterday.
Wow,
So,
nice.
And since I got the mic, I just want to express my real appreciation and gratitude to Henry. Just again, what we've talked about over the years of just that cooperation at the airport. When things are those blustery winter storms, you could always count on Henry to keep us informed. When we had, an unusual 4 a.m. departure and there's 10 inches of snow, all of a sudden a plow would show up right to the hangar door and an aircraft would get out and get moving. And that type of operation at an airport is important, and really appreciated his personal devotion to the whole operation over the years. Thank you, Henry.
Thanks for those words, Jim, and thanks for being on.
all right, so the final thing that I have, go ahead. Okay, so the
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
So the final thing I have is a few months ago I brought to your attention a request from Customs for the Airport Authority to upgrade the technology in our Customs building, which is our responsibility. What was at contention is that they wanted to claw back to about 2013 and recover all of their monthly phone line charges, if you will, which we had read the lease and I had given it to Stacy. That is pretty clear that the government contracted for those services, and that wouldn't be our responsibility, because it reads the same as our General Services Administration lease with the TSA. The language is identical, and we don't pay their phone bill. So earlier this week, the cost of the project, the estimated cost was about $45,000 a few months ago. That's come down to somewhere in the $20-some thousand range. And they want to have a conference call sometime this week to be able to move forward. And I told them to move forward with the technology upgrade, as that is our responsibility. What's still in contention is who's going to pay the monthly phone bill. They believe that starting with the new installation, we would take over the costs of the monthly phone bill. It's about $3,700 a year roughly, plus the maintenance of the equipment. That would be our responsibility. So I'm still in contention that the phone bill isn't our responsibility per the lease. But I'll work with Stacy and the Customs folks to try to come to some resolution of that. I think Customs did some polling across the country and found that they have kind of a mixed batch. At some airports they pay it, some airports they don't. So we'll see where that conversation goes, but we could be on the hook if they want to do a lease amendment to officially take over that monthly phone fee, and we'll see where that conversation goes. So more to follow on that.
Thank you. Commissioner Strand, do you have anything you'd like to say before we finish up?
I don't, Madam Chair, except we will be
hearing from Michael Redlinger to schedule our next discussion.
Okay,
We had an internal discussion yesterday, and he's going to be very soon inviting your team to go back to the table and continue on with our items that we're addressing. So that's all I have to update you on. Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other business to come before?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Madam Chair, since Commissioner Strand is on, do we have a status on the amendment to the MOU that we submitted to the city some time ago? I think it was August, September.
That will be part of our next discussion, and I can't speak to it directly, but that absolutely, Rick, will be one of our primary focuses.
Okay, thank you.
Any other business to come before the body? All right, hearing none, meeting adjourned.